Welcome everybody to the 2020 Outstanding Professional Teacher Awards for this year. My name's Barbara Coombs and I am the Vice President of PTC WA. Exits are out that way, as are the toilets. You have a bottle of white and a bottle of red on your table and some water. If you want anything else, then you can go out to the bar and get it. But we won't be providing anything else. And since most of you have got to drive home yet after a long day of work, just saying. I'd like to introduce our MC for tonight, which is the new President of PTC WA, Mr. Chris Callis. He is our new President. He's the National President of the Australian Association of Religious Education, the President of the West Australian branch of the Association for Religious Education, and Acting Head for Religious Education and a teacher at Servite College. If you want something done, always ask a busy person. Chris is our MC for tonight.
Thank you, Barbara, and welcome all. I'm just looking around the room, and isn't it wonderful? A lot of people here have run a range of events all the time, so it's not nice for you to sit down and relax and let somebody else do it for a change. Just adding to what Barbara said, I'd like to welcome you to our PTC WA Outstanding Professional Teaching Awards. This is an important occasion within the world of education in WA, as we gather from all sectors of the realm: government, independent, Catholic, primary, secondary and tertiary, to recognise the value of our work, to celebrate our achievements, to learn so that we might do things better, and to honour those who exemplify what is best about our profession. We hope you feel affirmed, inspired and challenged. Tonight we draw on the themes and purpose of World Teachers' Day and are delighted to have as our occasional speaker Dr. Nancy Bonfilio-Pavicevic, who's sitting here, and our award presenter Matilda Joubert, both renowned educational leaders. Information about the PTCWA, the proceedings of the evening and the details of our award winners are found in the booklet that you received as you arrived, and there's a newsletter on the table. Before we go any further, I would like to invite Michelle Murphy, a member of our committee and the Vice President of the Level 3 Classroom Teachers Association, to give the acknowledgement of country. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome to everybody, and it's good to see so many people here to celebrate all the good work we do as educators in Western Australia. I'd like to just mention a little bit of fun facts about Karrinyup. Karrinyup is actually a traditional name of this place that existed from the original inhabitants of our lands, the First Nations people. Their spelling of Karrinyup was Carenup, and it actually means a place where the kangaroos gather to drink by the waterhole. And so a little bit of a fun fact. We've entered the season of Camberang, and so many of us might be a bit itchy, a bit sneezy. You might have noticed as you came in the bottle brush flowers in full flower, and that's the season of Camberang, the season of wildflowers. And again, the traditional owners would collect the flowers and soak them in water to release all the sweet nectar and actually make a cordial drink that had health benefits just from the bottle brush. So I would like to take this opportunity to recognise the elders past, present and emerging on the land that we're meeting today, which is Noongar land, and always was, always will be, and acknowledge their contribution to looking after the environment, education, and to continuing to do so alongside us as educators in the 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Let me elaborate on my welcome and acknowledge the presence of some very special guests. I've already mentioned Dr. Nancy Bofilio and Matilda Jabeur, who are here. So Nancy, among other things, is the Director of Reframe WA Consulting and a Strategic Partnership Liaison Officer for the University of Notre Dame. We'll speak more about the other things that you're doing a bit later on. Matilda Jabeur is the Director of Excellence and Innovation at Sheridan Institute of Higher Education and the WA Director for the Australian Council of Educational Leaders. Welcome also to Mrs. Pauline White, the Chair of the School Curriculum and Standards Authority, Mr. Chris Massey, the Executive Director of the Association of Independent Schools of WA, Associate Professor Glenda Campbell-Evans, Dean of Education of Edith Cowan University, Dr. Natalie Latascio, who's the Academic Principal of Sheridan Institute of Higher Education, Dr. Susan Conradi, who's the Dean of Education at Sheridan Institute of Higher Education, Mr. Dill Smith, President of West Australian Primary Principals Association, Mrs. Georgia Carasio, too? Oh, sorry, I practiced that. I'm so sorry. The Greek consul. Mrs. Dewey Gustina Gobing and her guest Domingus Subu, who from the Indonesian consul. Mr. Niccolo Costantini, who's the Italian consul. Dr. Gabriel Maluga, who's the German consul. Invited guests. Most importantly, awardees, their colleagues, supporters, and families. It's time for a drink. Sorry, I want to propose a toast. Please charge your glasses. To us, we're worth it.
I'm back again to introduce Chris again, who is going to give the PTCWA executive address. And his theme today from World Teachers' Day is the beating heart of education.
Oh, there we go. That's me. And Jonathan, I'll invite you back. Oh, maybe I need to turn this on. Is that on? Jonathan is our executive officer and an absolute champion who problem solves everything. How's that? You're a good man. Thank you, Jonathan. So let me just begin by giving a bit of an outline about PTCWA, because this is the opportunity to do it. And let me get organised by turning over to my notes, which would be very helpful. Okay. So the PTCWA is the peak body representing voluntary professional education associations within Western Australia. As an umbrella body representing individual associations, we represent over 9,000 teachers across all sectors and all learning areas. The key aim of PTCWA is to promote professionalism in teaching through an enhancement of the work of the professional associations. It provides a wider context for the work of these associations through facilitation of networking and communication between individual associations. From our mission statement, I'd just like to pick up the second point there as part of what we're doing this evening, the information, advice, professional learning opportunities to support strong and effective governance for member associations. So, like you in the associations, we strive to serve, we strive to lead. So, World Teachers' Day. We intentionally hold our awards on the night in October around the time, or to coincide with World Teachers' Day. It seems appropriate to recognise and honour award recipients at the time we celebrate teachers worldwide. International Day of the International Holiday of World Teachers' Day was established by UNESCO on October the 5th, 1994, and since then annually celebrated on that day. for those who aren't aware, UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation. All Australian teachers have a special day, but we don't celebrate it on that date. We're usually on holidays. So we have the last Friday in October, unless it's Halloween, but there we go, we won't go into that. So on this day, a lot of non-teachers start saying things like this. A truism. Truism is true. Teachers work hard to inspire, guide, educate and mentor us every day. We know that. So last year's theme was Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. So we're going to build on that this year. And I thought we might just take a little trip down memory lane. I'm just wondering, the last 3 years, do any of these things resonate with you? I resonate with a lot of those. But of course, occasionally we have a success, and probably more than we like to think. So this year, the theme, teachers are the beating heart of education. And I want to pick up that theme. I'd like to consider that metaphor. So we know the heart, it's the primary organ of the circulatory system. It pumps blood throughout your body. It controls your heart rate, maintains a blood pressure. So the heart of the body and the heart of education, I'm just wondering whether you can draw some links rather than me spell them out for you. The heart can beat on its own. It does not need a brain or a body, for that matter, to keep beating. The heart has its own electrical system that causes it to beat and pump blood. Because of this, the heart can continue to beat for a short time after brain death or after being removed from the body. The heart will keep beating as long as it has oxygen. Beats about 100,000 times a day. So your heart is a busy organ, aren't we? The human heart beats about 100,000 times a day, which adds up to about 3 million beats over an average lifetime. The blood your heart pumps could travel 96,000 kilometres through blood vessels. Has anybody put a pedometer on as they walk around the school? Has anybody tried that? It's an interesting exercise to see how much you actually do walk. The heart rate is individual. A person's heart rate, or the number of heart times the heart beats per minute, depends on many factors, including age, fitness, body size, medication. Resting heart rate for adults is typically between 60 and 100 per minute. Let me draw on another aspect of the metaphor heart. Do we have any French-speaking people in the room? Anyway, so does anybody know the French word for heart? Okay. Yes. Somebody asked me if I speak French. I said, but of course I speak French, but not for you. So the word is now embedded in a couple of other words that we've stolen from the French, or borrowed, we'll give it back later. Courage and encourage. Courage is the quality of being ready and willing to face negative situations involving danger or pain. Is there a link in the classroom? That's cool. To encourage is to give support, confidence, or hope. Interesting enough, I couldn't find any photos online of secondary students that looked that enthusiastic. We'll come to your classroom, get some photos, we'll be right. Okay, so, yeah, true. So here's the question. I just would like you to ponder and maybe share with the person next to you for a moment. Over the past 3 years, and the last 3 years have been very, very interesting in the history of the last few generations, where have you seen courage, encouragement within your association or in your field of work? I'd like you to have a natter for a minute or two. Thank you very much. I found this image and I thought it was just lovely. That lovely image. Can you see your heart in there? Before I became a teacher, I had no idea that you could fit so many kids in one heart. And really, we do love our kids. Okay, so just very quickly, ATSL have got a campaign running at the moment, which is wonderful. Hats off to teachers. Teachers have shown great resilience over the challenges of the past few years. All can give Australian students, so they can all give. So also they can give Australian students the best possible future, and that's why we're here. But of course, as lovely as that is, that's not enough, is it? It's nice to have this, but we need to recognise there's much more happening. Globally and locally, and you're at the forefront of that. If you weren't, you have to be. To volunteer to work in this association speaks volumes about you and what you're doing at school. I'd like to invite you to think back to 2015. What happened then? There's all the word, we were all doing it in classes. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all the United Nations member states in 2015, provided a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future. At its heart were the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, in a global partnership. They recognise that ending poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans and forests. Do they look familiar to you? Yes, all very important, and the work still goes on. And of course, you would have noticed that there was one missing, that one. And that's what we're focusing on this evening. I'm delighted that Nancy will pick up some themes of that and share further some of the information that's come out. I'm just very conscious of not keeping you long, but I do want to share something else. On the 19th of September this year, world leaders met at the United Nations in New York and committed to transforming education everywhere. Teachers are at the heart of this transformation. They must be trusted and supported to make quality public education a reality for all students. The leadership of teachers in transforming education is in the theme of this year's World Teachers' Day. The transformation of education begins with teachers. So, UNESCO, Education International, UNICEF, gather. That's a pretty big thing. World leaders gathered in June this year, and educational leaders gathered in September this year. And the outcomes of these summits are still now pouring out. David Edwards, who's the General Secretary of Education International, said this: "To truly celebrate World Teachers' Day, we must go beyond thanking teachers. We must invest in quality public education systems. We call on all governments everywhere to invest in teachers, guarantee labour rights and good working conditions. Involve teachers in decision making and trust their pedagogical expertise. The transformation starts with teachers. We are the beating heart of education. There's a lot more that can be said, but I don't think really this evening is the time for me to celebrate. Sadly, the committees that have been set up to review the progress have indicated that COVID-19, climate change and the many conflicts around the world, including what's happening now in the Ukraine, have set us back years. So governments, organisations are doing some things, but we know it starts and ends with us. And so I acclaim and celebrate the work that you guys are doing, that we're all doing. Just very, very quickly to finish, and thank you, Nancy, for picking up this theme. There are some great stories. I won't do this now, but there are some real positive, there's real wonderful things happening. Happy story of going back to school, helping Iraqi girls stay in school, and we know the gender issues that some countries are facing. We see this now. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. Okay, so the review's happening. You guys can access this yourselves. I mentioned before that we are set back. There are some themes of action that are taking place, inclusive, equitable, safe and healthy schools. That applies to us, doesn't it? Learning skills for life, work and sustainable development. Is that a global or local? Teachers teaching and the teaching profession. Digital learning and transformation. And how have we progressed in the last 5 years? Who's actually held their meetings online? Who's taught online? The last few years have been remarkable and in some sense quite positive. Think for the skills that we've developed. And then of course the financing of education. So I think I'll leave that there, simply saying that teachers are the best. We have a little video we'd like to show at this point. So to celebrate World Teachers' Day, we thought it was timely to remind us all of how influential teachers and other school personnel are on the students in their care. It's entitled, What Makes a Great Teacher? So we are part of the global village. All this affects us, individually as educators and collectively in teams, such as the professional associations. We have a role to play. We also know that it comes down to us and how well we relate to our students. So the role of our association, PTCWA, and yours, is not just to support but to lead. In order to do so, we need to be informed, we need to upskill, we need to engage. And to help us to do this, we are delighted to have with us this evening, provide the occasional address, Dr. Nancy Bonfiglio, entitled Teachers Leading in Crisis and Reimagining the Future. And as you come up, Nancy, I just want to share with everybody a little bit about yourself to give some context. So Nancy is a leadership and quality teacher consultant with a focus on leadership, change management, induction, mentoring and coaching. She has worked with a range of leaders, including consultants, corporate clients and teachers. She has researched, designed, implemented and evaluated system, organisational team and individual programs, and has facilitated, scoped and sequenced workshops to meet the needs of all stakeholders. Nancy has a PhD in mentoring, a master's degree in educational leadership and qualifications in business management, neuro leadership and training and assessment. With extensive experience as a senior leader in schools, Nancy is also a lifestyles and group styles inventory, DISC and educator impact facilitator, a sessional tutor, and a strategic partnership liaison officer for the University of Notre Dame. She is also a qualified life coach. And after morning tea, with a passion for growing and developing individuals and teams, Nancy's leadership and teaching and learning practices are underpinned by evidence-based research. She is a regular contributor to the Australian Council of Educational Leadership Resources and Action series, and was the recipient of the New Voice Scholarship Award in 2020. Last year, 2021, Nancy was recognised by the Australian CELWA with a Certificate of Excellence in Educational Leadership, and this year she was awarded a postgraduate award from the West Australian Institute for Educational Research. Please make Nancy feel very welcome.
Wow. Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here this evening. I just noticed, though, I have this relationship with podiums. It's either I'm getting smaller or they're just getting higher, which is a real challenge. I'm excited to speak with you this evening. I've been asked to take you through a topic, Teachers Leading in Crisis and Reimagining the Future. And to make it easier, I'm going to break that topic into half. So we're going to look at teachers leading in a crisis. But in order to do that, I really want to introduce you to Mimi Wilson. Mimi Wilson is an 11-year-old student in a metropolitan school in Perth, Western Australia. She is the youngest of 5 children, and in fact, she is the only girl with 4 older brothers. She loves education, and like many of her peers, 1.5 billion children. Her peers, 1.5 billion children. She was one whose education was interrupted due to COVID-19. And the consequence of that for her was working from home, learning at home with her brothers. She would tell you it was the worst experience ever. She would rather be at school every day. Online learning wasn't too bad. But for her, it was missing out on connecting with her friends. It was connecting with her teachers and forging relationships. However, I have to say, Mimi is one of the lucky ones. She was very lucky. She had already had a digital device, so there was a device for her to use. She had great connectivity at home, and she had wonderful teachers who not only focused on developing her knowledge, skills and understandings, but would check up on her every single day. Not all of her peers in the global community had that. So I want to take you through this because the experience for Mimi was very sad, but it was even harder for her teachers, and you can all attest to this. For Mimi's teachers, this time brought significant challenge and unprecedented pressure. So much so that we're getting research coming out. And I can qualify for you the research of Frey et al. In 2022, who quite termly named their paper Under Pressure and Overcooked. And it described the challenges in teacher efficacy and morale and aligned challenges with working with children away from school and then upon their return to school. Work intensification, feelings of being expendable, rapid movement to radically different modes of teaching, and a lack of recognition for the realities of their situation contributed to lower staff morale. The result from these findings would not surprise you. Overworked and frustrated teachers who had to keep their school doors open and address the challenges of their vulnerable students. However, there is a positive light to this. Gore et al. Also engaged in a study, and they were interested in examining the student achievement during balancing out whether or not there was a significant deficit between 2019 and 20.
And so they drew on the data from 4,800 Year 3 and 4 students from 113 New South Wales government schools. And what they found was that there was no significant difference between 2019 and 20 in student achievement growth as measured by progressive achievement tests in mathematics or reading. What does that tell us? Well, let me tell you the work of Sharma, Lelatis, May and Grove. They too did a study, and their study was focused on investigating factors that support Australian teachers to meet the needs of all learners during COVID-19. This is what they found. There were 5 common elements for teachers, intrinsic practices and strengths that included passion and commitment, proactive organised approach, enhanced flexibility and personalisation, of course, building relationships and facilitating access to online learning. The 3 support structures aligned with those were school culture, the importance, and I emphasise this, the importance of school leadership, and of course supportive school systems. And of course the results were that we had very, very successful achievements for students, but we also had teachers who were struggling. And even now we are continuing to do research in this space. So I refer you now to the global goals, and Chris very humorously took us through those. Despite the challenge of the pandemic, the global goals for education have not changed. We are still on the trajectory to education in 2030. So, as Chris alluded, on the 21st of May 2015, there was a meeting for all global education leaders and partners in Incheon in the Republic of Korea. And the focus there was the Education 2030 Framework for Action Statements. And of course, the one that we're focusing on this evening is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. I just want to clarify a definition between equity and equality. So if we equate it to shoes, equality refers to the shoes that we provide all students, but equity refers to selecting a shoe size that meets the feet of every single student in our care. So just something to think about when we talk about equity and equality. And as Chris quite rightly said, the Sustainable Development Goal invites all countries and partners to ensure inclusive and equitable education and lifelong learning for all. And I thought I'd attach some of these, and they're not exciting as Chris's pictures, but as an academic, I sort of like a few tables. So it really is about bringing to the fore what works in our respective contexts. So one size does not fit all. However, we need to listen to the voices of the students in our care. We need to listen to the voices of staff in our school. And our role in our respective capacities, and of course the leaders for whom and with we work, very important to make sure we are very clear about what our journey is and what our role is, our responsibility is for guiding students in our care. So I'm happy to share these slides if someone wants them, but it's just to give you an idea of what is covered there. And again, this passion of looking at and focusing on the development of an education system that is inclusive and equitable, again, was further extended upon by the OECD in 2018. And I'll leave you to read what they were saying. So it's about collaboration and empowerment, and that collaboration starts with you, with us as educators in the classroom, in our respective offices, in our community spaces. So that's the framework that they've put there as well, and I thought I'd just show that in terms of the knowledge, skills, attitudes and values that are the focal point for our 2030 achievement. So getting back on track, we have COVID-19 that we've hopefully seen the back of, but we also now are on that trajectory for Education 2030. And Chris is right, it doesn't stop for us. And it doesn't stop because we have a significant responsibility for supporting the growth of the children in our care. They are our next generation of leaders. So it's really important that we work through what our next focus is. So we have the UNESCO Futures of Education, and I've highlighted the most important bits in orange. These are the concrete actions of today that will advance education tomorrow. So we talk about strengthening education, defining the right to education, valuing teacher profession and collaboration, absolutely important. Promoting student youth participation and rights, protecting social spaces, making free open source technologies, ensuring scientific literacy, protecting domestic international financing of public education, and of course, advancing global solidarity. So what does that mean in summary? Well, it's about people, and people means that we look at focusing on fulfilling the potential of every single person with dignity and integrity and equality. If we look at the planet, we're looking at sustainable consumption and production. If we're looking at prosperity, that everyone has the right to enjoy a prosperous, meaningful, full life. If we look at peace, we're not just looking at fostering peace in itself, but we're looking at societies being inclusive. We're looking at societies being free from fear and from violence. And of course, partnerships, interlinkages, and the integrated nature of the Sustainable Development Goals and how we can bring them alive in our world. So I'm just going to stop there for a minute, and I'm going to invite you to have a conversation at your table. I've left the component parts of Goal 4 up, and there's another slide with that. But what can you do in your respective spaces to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all? I'm just going to give you 2 minutes at your tables. I do invite some individuals to put up their hand to share their responses. We have the generous Mr. Conti, the Sicilian-speaking Mr. Conti, who's happy to come round to tables. Yes, we have one person, thank you.
Hello everyone, it's Angela with Angelica Genakis here, and I very cheekily said immediately after you posed the question or made the statement, it's what we're doing already, right? That was the number one point. But then we talked a little bit more, and I said, you know, inclusivity is a big factor in our classrooms, and one good way, one very obvious positive way that we're doing it is through languages, languages education. And even in the specific language classrooms, when we are accepting all the different language backgrounds in those rooms, we are being inclusive. And can I just add here how excited I was to read that The Very Hungry Caterpillar has been translated into no less than 6 Indigenous languages.
Fantastic.
I mentioned it at another event where I was the MC during my acknowledgement of country. And by the way, Michelle, excellent acknowledgement of country. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Is there someone else who'd like to share their insights, their table's insights? This is a bit like a classroom. We do this to our students all the time. Come on. At least one more person. Can I have one more person? Yes, we have. This lady over here.
Cheryl would like to say something.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Conti.
For those of you that don't know Cheryl, she was on GAWA, LEWA and the History Teachers Association. Very, very holistic perspective. Go on to hear what you've got to say, Cheryl.
No pressure, Cheryl.
We were discussing the relationship between students and teachers.
Yes.
And a lot of the time the teachers had to actually do that interacting, not personal, but just so they could build that trust.
Yes.
Students, they'll come up, they need the teachers, but then they feel valued, and the teachers don't get that reciprocity.
Yeah, absolutely. Psychological safety. Thank you so much. Mr. Conti's off talking to someone else. He might get the mic off you. All right, so I might continue because I'm mindful I only had 20 minutes and I think I've exceeded that already. All right, so post-COVID-19, moving towards 2030. What do you believe professional learning needs to look like to support our educators as we move into the future? So something to think about again. I'm going to pose this to you and I'd like at least two more people to feed in. Mr. Conti loves the mic, so we're going to give him that opportunity. So 2 minutes. What do you believe professional learning needs to look like to support our educators as we move into the future? Okay, do we have any takers? Thank you. We have one. Thank you, everyone.
So I think we're ready to go on this. This is how I spend a big portion of my time with the Department of Education as a provider of professional learning in the areas of classroom management strategies and also instructional strategies. And my takeaway from those experiences of working with pre-service teachers as well as beginning career teachers and teachers who've been teaching for some time in the system is that the more modes of delivery that we offer training in, the more individualised opportunities to obtain relevant professional learning that contextually fulfills our personal learning goals, the more positive that experience is for everybody.
Thank you, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. One more person? Yes, to my left. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. You're making Mr. Conti work.
I really believe if we're moving forward into the future in terms of professional learning, we really need to look at, like, it's not about competition between teachers and about moving forward in our careers. We're actually there to teach our students, and that's why we went into teaching. And I think that we need to support our educators by ensuring that we have like master classes, that we are sending our teachers into our schools to watch other teachers, to learn from them, not just being top schools with other schools. And I think that if we work together, rather than thinking that about our career and where we're going, that we're really going to really bring that teacher professionalism up at a very high standard.
Thank you so much. Very well said. Lady to our left.
I represent the West Australian School Library Association, and for us at our PD, we have members across WA. So as COVID has hit, we've become more comfortable with technology, and they've become more receptive of doing PD with technology. So we welcome more country members coming in and having opportunities to learn from those who were getting presenting. But we're also getting presenters from across Australia,
Excellent.
WA presenters, which has opened our doors as well. So for us, that's something we're certainly exploring more. So the online environment.
Thank you. That's fantastic. Oh, we have one more. Oh, this is fantastic. I'm loving this.
Hi, my name's Rose. I'm from the Political and Legal Educators Association of WA. I've been out of the classroom a long time, but what it seems to me happens in schools still, and I'm sure my colleagues would support this, is that schools get bogged down in professional development that is irrelevant in the classroom, whereas professional associations give teachers what they want, which is nuts and bolts and all sorts of types of learning. And I think really schools need to look at what they're doing at their higher levels and make some improvements from the top down if we're going to make a difference and stop teachers feeling like they'll never cope because there is so much rubbish surrounding their everyday life. We need change. We need big change in education. I know it's not going to happen tomorrow, but maybe we need to stand up and say, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't know. Is that what we need to do? Because it's damn hard work out there in schools.
Thank you, much appreciated. Thank you for your contribution, everyone. I'll continue now. So there are a plethora of ideas and lots to think about, and certainly our pathway to 2030 is one that does need a lot of reflection and responsive action. And again, with that mindset, and I'll give you some more information now. So as we move on, we need to be aware of our learnings from COVID-19. What is it that we actually learned? Some of the information that came through was that it was important to have students access technology, and not just for remote learning. It's now a global link. It's an interlinkage, and we need to be aware of that. Talked about a hybrid model of schooling, and in fact I was a part of the research I was involved with looked at Haysbury. It's not college, it's an institution in the States, but they have 6 schools, and they are now on par to establish the first online private school in Australia. So again, and that's navigating towards their reimagination of education, leading on that 2030 pathway. And of course, there's having virtually fully online school options, as I just said to you. The other document, and Chris did touch base on this, the Transforming Education Summit 2022. These were the findings from April. But what I want to say about this is 2 things. Number one, this document is all about the full recovery post-COVID-19. How do we get back on track? And it's about strategic transformation for reimagining education. And it's about accelerated progress towards shared educational goals that are not just global, they are national and they are local. We need to come together as a community. And of course, their 4 areas of focus are equity, inclusion, quality and relevance. So reimagining the future, and how do we help people like Mimi get through in a post-pandemic world where we need to look at professional learning. And the first thing we need to do is we need to own professional learning. It's not about anyone at the school finding it for us. We need to look at what it is that we need to do to support and grow the children within our care. So it brings me to, for anyone that follows me on Twitter and LinkedIn, I write a lot about personal and professional growth, and that includes horizontal and vertical growth, which I want to take you through. Equality, equity and inclusivity have to underpin all that we do. And it's about creating global work and business partnerships. It's about embedding critical problem solving and effective decision making, even more now, because the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report predicts machines will do 42% of all labour by 2022, which is now, and more than half of it by 2025. So we need to rethink our way of being, doing, relating and educating. So what does that look like? The possibilities to help us on this trajectory to moving to 2030. Number one, facilitation and not just delivery of lessons, blending our online learning with practical applications. Personalised, self-paced and self-directed learning, linking into problem-based and immersive experiences. Partnerships, partnerships, partnerships. Relationships, relationships, relationships. We need to bring the world to the classroom and the classroom to the world, and that's not just online. It's in the connections that we forge with other educators in the global community. And the other dimension of that, which is relatively new, is this notion of vertical growth. How do we turn up every day, and how do our children see us turn up? And how we can support them to see how they themselves turn up and how their peers and others see them turn up. And that is the biggest challenge that meets us on the education pathway towards 2030. So Just to summarise, teacher quality and school leadership are the most important factors in raising student achievement. Professional learning is the only way educators can learn so that they are able to better their performance and raise student achievement. And with that, Chris alluded to World Teachers' Day. Well, you would have seen some communication from AITSL in the past 48 hours. And so the theme for AITSL this year, Australia, is hats off to the teachers. So from me to you tonight, thank you so very much for your perseverance during what has been a very, very difficult time. Thank you for the love that you have for your students, the passion you have for your respective learning areas, and ultimately for the care that you have for them, for yourselves, and for the people that you work with. Thank you so very much.
Nancy, thank you very much for your presentation. Insightful, full of wisdom, interesting and relevant. And one of the things that the PTCWA might look forward to next year is perhaps engaging in some targeted professional learning in this sphere. So maybe that's something we can communicate with the different associations, and maybe we can map out an agenda that meets our needs as we see it. So Nancy, on behalf of everybody, thank you once again. I have a little gift for you. And we look forward to seeing you again. And I've got to confess, Nancy and I worked together as deputies in a previous life. So it's lovely to see you, and thank you again. Now, in schools, in classrooms, we would have a brain break. I would suggest we have a stomach break. Now, there's food on the table, and we have some sweets coming very soon. So let's take just a couple of minutes to grab something to eat, grab a drink, and then we'll recommence. And if anybody here has indicated they need a gluten-free meal, could you please make yourself known to the staff, because that's been organised for you. Thank you. Back in a couple of minutes. So, events like this, as I'm sure many of you would be very familiar with, only become possible because of the generosity and wisdom demonstrated by some sponsors. And RIC Publications is our platinum and long-time sponsor. So I'd just like to provide an opportunity to recognise them now. Starting in a backyard shed, 3 teachers started the company to create resources that were relevant to WA teachers and the curriculum. Today, RIC Publications is the largest supplementary resource publisher in Australia, as well as owning operations in the UK, Ireland, South Africa, Malaysia and New Zealand. RIC still operates according to the ethos established in 1986. They look to solve problems and challenges that teachers encounter every day in the classroom. RIC Publications has been the sponsor of PTC Awards for 8 years. So I just would like to acknowledge them. If you feel inclined to give them a clap, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, bit of colour and movement, that's good. We have a new sponsor this year, Driftwood Estate Winery, and they have graciously provided a bottle of wine each for each of our award winners this evening. That's not one, you don't share it. I'd like to invite Maria Svano, a member of the PTC committee, to come forward and say a few words on behalf of Driftwood Estate.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honour to stand before you as a member of the PTC WA committee and of the Modern Greek Teachers Association, as well as a deputy chair. But regardless, I am amongst a plethora of brilliant minds, academics, mentors and leaders in the teaching profession. So I'm here to briefly acknowledge with much gratitude Driftwood Estate Winery as the sponsor of this year's PTC WA Awards evening. So the owner of Driftwood Estate, Mr. Tom Galopoulos, regretfully is unable to join us as he is in Greece. However, he has asked me to extend his sentiments of pride to sponsor the awards evening in acknowledgement of the professionalism of teachers and their invaluable contribution to the future of our society through their professional teaching associations. So a little bit of background history about Driftwood Estate. If you don't know it already, it is a boutique winery, is one of Margaret River's most iconic vineyards since 1989 in the sub-region of Margaret River, known for its award-winning single-site and artefacts wines. With a location that offers free-draining soils and a mild maritime climate, the couple, Mr. Tom Galopoulos and Helen Galopoulos, knew the space would be perfectly for creating flavoursome wines of character and distinction, with the winery immediately receiving acclaim with its first wine in 1993, and with multiple awards since then, including the 2018 Wine Companion rating Driftwood Estate as a 5-star winery. One of the first estates in the region, Driftwood Wines have had years of nurturing to ensure they produce premium, fruitful, showcasing the sub-region of Margaret River beautifully. The wine-making philosophy behind the Driftwood Wines is one of simplicity. Quality wines are made in the vineyard. With premium quality fruit, with a strong work ethic, the wine-making philosophy is all about protecting and expressing the qualities found in the grapes so that the wine lover can enjoy the pure and very delicious wine. So I was trying to find some similarities between winemaking and teaching. So, the similarities I found maybe in the philosophy of teaching, in that it's just like a grape is turned into wine. You have to go into anything wholeheartedly in order to achieve anything worth having. Similarly, with being an outstanding educator, you have to have heart and commitment and raise achievement. And in the words of Aristotle, I will say the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. So congratulations to all award recipients and to all the teachers. Thank you for your courage, encouragement and heart. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, Maria. That's excellent. Very interesting. I just like the wines, but they're very good. Talk about partnerships, and Nancy made a comment about that. And isn't it wonderful that we have the Greek consul, we have the German consul, we have the Indonesian consul, we have the Italian consul here this evening. Talk about partnerships. Isn't it magnificent? So wonderful to have you here this evening. I wish to acknowledge our university partners, Curtin School of Education, Edith Cowan School of Education and Sheridan Institute of Higher Learning. The PTC WA is delighted to form partnerships with the tertiary education sector. The progression through pre-primary, primary, lower secondary, upper secondary and then tertiary experiences a well-practiced and fruitful process we have enjoyed for some time. The PTC WA has memoranda of understanding with Curtin School of Education, Edith Cowan and Sheridan, and positive relationships with the others. We contend that developing a mutual appreciation and understanding of the role and provisions between the secondary and tertiary sectors can only but provide more fruitful and beneficial outcomes for the students, first ours and then theirs. Like schools, the tertiary sector has been under enormous financial strain recently because of the pandemic. We are all in this together, and continuing dialogue across the secondary-tertiary divide is important. More so is working together in discerning the education required for our future researchers, innovators and entrepreneurs. So, thank you very much to our university guests. And now, why we have come here this evening, the awards. All members and awardees of the associations which belong to the PTCWA work in a voluntary capacity, but you know that. The PTCWA Outstanding Professional Teaching Awards are awarded to exemplary professionals who go above and beyond to provide services and support for their associations, which in turn support personnel in schools. The awardees are nominated by their peers from across all educational sectors in Western Australia. The awards this evening will be presented by Matilda Jabeur, who is the Director of Excellence and Innovation at Sheridan Institute of Higher Education and who is the WA Director of the Australian Council for Education Leaders. I would like to invite Matilda to say a few words, if that's possible. Thank you. Please make Matilda feel welcome.
Thank you very much, Chris. I would also like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the land of the Whadjuk Noongar people and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And thank you very much for inviting me to be here tonight. And it was interesting. I love alliteration. And I was thinking about, what letter can I play with? And of course, being the professional awards and the professional association, I immediately thought of what sort of unifies the type of people who win awards at the PTCWA award. And I decided to settle on the word positivity. Because for people to go above and beyond the call of duty, as Chris has just explained, it does require a positive attitude and an attitude to that can-do attitude, to want to do more than just the basic requirements of the role. But actually, recently, in these last few years, the word positive has had a really bad rap, hasn't it? I mean, this is the one time in our lives where we didn't want to be known as positive. I mean, it's like, you had to go into isolation and things when you were being positive, and we were happy to be negative. But I think on a night like tonight, we are definitely reclaiming the word, what does it mean to make a positive contribution to our profession? And I think that's one of the lovely things about the profession of education. It is inherently a helping profession, a profession that's there who want to see things better tomorrow than it is today. And that really does require positivity. And over the past year, and I know Nancy's talked about that and Chris has talked about that, so many things have been thrown at us in the education profession, hasn't it? And we've had to learn a whole new vocabulary. I mean, there's been rat testing and isolation and vaccination and all of these type of things that we had to learn to contend with. But through that, people like our award winners tonight have really stood tall. But I think tonight we're not just honouring people who stood tall and who were positive in a time of crisis. We're actually recognising people who've done that throughout their career and who've had careers of service to the profession. And I think that is incredibly honourable. Now, actually, that idea of being contagiously positive has been described in the research literature by people like Stephen Dinham. Actually has done research on what is the positive impact of positivity in education. And we actually know that contributes to greater educational learning outcomes for young people in schools where the staff are imbued by positivity and where they are leaders, not just senior executive leaders, but classroom leaders leading with positivity in their classrooms. I've got a quote here from Stephen Dinham where he talks about these type of people. He says, these educators they possess positive attitudes that tend to be contagious. They realise negativity can be self-handicapping. You know, misery loves company. And they attempt to drive it out. So they drive out negativity. Their positive approach motivates others and acts as a form of organisational energy to keep the school moving and improving. This is not blind, unthinking, Pollyanna-ish optimism or always looking on the bright side of life, but it's based on realistic appraisal of the situation. So it's a choice to be positive despite whatever life is throwing at us. Their positive approach is seen as authentic rather than a mechanism for manipulation or control. So I think perhaps that's the word that we can remember as we go. There's been so many other P words this year. As I said, there's been pivoting and there's been pressure and there's been pandemic and all of those. But I would like us to forget all of those and to just focus on the positivity. And perhaps another thought here about positivity by Mahatma Gandhi, who said, keep your thoughts positive because your thought becomes your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behaviour. Keep your behaviour positive because your behaviour becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. And keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. So to all of the award winners tonight and to all of the friends, families and colleagues who are here, may you continue to be professionally contagious and contagiously positive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matilda. So let me just explain the process. I will read out the awardee's name and Barbara will read a statement from for each awardee about the importance of their association. As they come forward to receive the award, Nick Ogenis of our committee and Economics Teachers Association will hand the award to Matilda, who will present the award winner their certificate. Award winners, you'll stand next to Matilda holding your certificate, smiling beautifully, and have a photo taken by our lovely Phyllis Payoff here. We will then all clap as they're getting their photo taken, and Nick will hand you a bottle and send you on your way. So, team, do we have that? Was it all good? So, I'll invite them to come stand over here. Okay. So, So the first one here, we have Megan Mentz from the Australian Association for Environmental Education.
Megan was unable to make it tonight, and I'm not sure if someone is here to receive her award for her. No. So her words for the gathering here tonight were, sustainability connects us all to tread lightly on our world and to reach out into community and to share the journey together. As the Little Green Steps manager in WA over the last 6 years, Megan has enjoyed many collaborative opportunities to share education for sustainability to early years communities. The Little Green Steps program is a hub of sustainability support to educators, which shares a suite of curriculum-linked workshops and hands-on actions for embedding into the daily practices of the early years community. She is especially grateful for the many opportunities she has had to affect positive change in this sector and believes we should never underestimate our future earth carers and their potential to connect to the broader community. So you don't get to have a photo taken?
No. In her absence, we'll give her a round of applause. The second award winner is Dr. Susan Main from the Australian Association of Special Education.
The Australian Association of Special Education is an important part of Susan's professional life, as it enables her to connect with people who are equally committed to improving the education and subsequently the lives of people with disability. It is not only important on a professional level, but also a great privilege to be part of an organisation that is dedicated to improving the lives of others. Congratulations, Susan.
The third award winner is Sonia Ellick from the Australian Society for Music Education, WA.
Soon after graduating from university, Sonia attended her first ASME professional learning session and was immediately hooked. She understood that although she was officially qualified to teach, she was really at the beginning of her journey towards becoming a proficient teacher. ASME gave her the opportunity to learn from and connect with teachers from a wide range of teaching contexts and backgrounds, building her skills and confidence as a musician and a teacher. Congratulations, Sonia.
We didn't get that photo, did we? Okay. Ladies.
I think they've got it.
Oh, you got it. Oh, there you go.
Excellent.
Next, we have Louise Morrison from Career Education Association WA.
Louisa's career commenced as a home economics teacher and progressed to delivering vet hospitality programs across schools. She currently works with the Department of Education supporting secondary schools, district high schools and post-school pathways. Her association has been a natural fit for her beliefs. She enjoys being part of the CEWA executive, helping teachers and others who work with young people. Congratulations, Sonia. Louise, in person.
A bit like the Academy Awards. Okay, so. Stephanie Wignall from the Chinese Language Teachers Association of WA.
Stephanie says being a member of her committee has granted her opportunities to participate in professional development, decision-making processes, develop key initiatives in responding to the implementation of new syllabuses, collaborate with Chinese professionals and coordinate professional development events, all of which have contributed greatly to advancing her professional vision and leadership skills. The professional events are most beneficial to Chinese member language associations or teachers teaching Chinese language education. Congratulations, Stephanie.
Next, we have Simon Tilley from the Design Technology Teachers Association.
As someone who was new to Western Australia, Data WA provided the perfect opportunity to meet and collaborate with future colleagues. Simon cannot emphasise enough what a difference it makes having the chance to meet other design and technology teachers, attend Data organised PDs, conferences and be involved in the informal chats that have taken place over the last 10 years. Congratulations, Simon.
Mandy Hudson from the Economics Teachers Association of WA.
Mandy values the professional association and the opportunities it can provide to teachers and for professional growth. As a graduate, membership of the Economic Teachers Association introduced her to economics teachers who were leaders in their field and who became mentors to not only herself but to a significant number of economics teachers in Western Australia and ensured the continuity and quality of economics teachers. Congratulations, Mandy.
Bruce Derby from the English Teachers Association of Western Australia.
The English Teachers Association of WA has played a key role in Bruce's development as a teacher and a leader. The association commits itself to bringing English teachers together to share practice and knowledge. It also commits itself to providing meaningful support to English teachers through its publications, mentoring programs and support for academic research into the teaching of English. Congratulations, Bruce.
Leo Conti, Geographical Association of Western Australia.
Teaching has always been Leo's passion, his profession and his reward. He joined GAWA in 1990 in his 5th year of teaching and have served on the management committee for over 30 years. Wow. It has become an integral part of his professional career as it has shaped and value-added his teaching experiences. Being part of this professional body that excels in the development of classroom teachers, assists in providing support to geography teachers, and focuses on creating an active platform to promote the profile of geography within the curriculum and community. Congratulations, Leo.
Thank you.
Cheryl Lundy from the Home Economics Institute of Australia, WA.
Oh gosh, here's another one. As a home economics teacher and member of HEWA Professional Association for the past 38 years, Cheryl has developed a real passion for textiles and education, and her fervent goal is to ensure that the opportunity to teach and learn in this context exists for all students and teachers into the future. Congratulations, Cheryl.
Margot Whittle from the Japanese Language Teachers Association, WA.
Margot enjoys sharing her Japan experiences and likes to network with teachers through the Japanese Language Teachers Association. As a committee member for more than 25 years, she has held a number of roles on the committee. She's currently serving as treasurer. I hate that job. She values the aims of her association and enjoys working together with the committee to facilitate cooperation with teachers, encourage the exchange of information and sharing resources through sessions that she delivers through via professional learning presentations. Congratulations, Margot.
Colleen Barclay from the Level 3 Classroom Teachers Association.
Colleen joined the Level 3 Classroom Teachers Association upon gaining her status in 2020. The association serves an important role in advocating for the Level 3 program, which is the only one in Australia, by the way, and Level 3 status and time in the EBA. The association is proud to be the organiser of the annual celebration event recognising the newly appointed Level 3 teachers each year. Congratulations, Colleen.
Helen Kuas, Modern Language Teachers Association, WA.
The Modern Language Teachers Association of WA is an important part of Helen's professional life for several reasons. It has helped her build a network of supportive teachers in the field of languages education. Collectively, teachers are stronger and more influential. Serving on the committee has exposed her to a wide range of people, including leaders and mentors who have supported her in becoming a better teacher. Helen is also a member of the PTC WA committee. Congratulations, Helen.
Nicole Davis, unfortunately she's unable to attend, and Rosalind Marshall will accept the award on her behalf from the Political and Legal Educators Association of WA.
PLEWA has played an integral role in Nicole's development as a teacher of politics and law. When she first started her journey as a teacher of this subject, the association was an invaluable resource as it provided her with the opportunity to connect to other professionals with differing ideas about how to teach the subject. Since joining the committee over 8 years ago, the association has grown and become an important source of resources and professional learning. Congratulations, Nicole.
Sarah Langley from the Science Teachers Association of WA.
Psychology has always been a passion of Sarah's, and she feels it's important to inspire students to learn about who they are and why they act in the way they do. The skills and knowledge they acquire can be transferred and applied across other subject areas. When Sarah was given the opportunity to become a founding member of the Star Wars Psychology Teachers Committee, she jumped at the prospect. Through her work with the association, she has been given the chance to partake in activities that without them she would never have done. It has provided her with invaluable knowledge of how psychology is taught in WA while developing her own subject expertise at the same time. Congratulations, Sarah.
Julia Müller from the Teachers Association of German, WA.
As a teacher of languages, being part of an association is incredibly valuable and vital for delivering high quality and rigorous lessons. The very energetic and innovative team of German teachers of WA Association achieves outstanding results. Being part of this executive has taught Julia skills beyond classroom delivery and has strengthened her leadership skills. It has opened many professional doors for her that otherwise she would not have been able to access. Congratulations, Julia.
Jessica Bates, WA Education Support Principals and Administrators Association.
As a teacher and an educational leader, particularly in the context of education support, there are times that you can feel a little isolated. The Western Australian Education Support Principal and Administrators Association proudly advocates for a range of educational services to be provided for students with a disability and promotes the professional development specifically for education support administrators. Congratulations, Jessica.
Dr. Roger Atkinson, WA Institute for Educational Research.
Roger's WIRE activities commenced in 1994, before the World Wide Web ignited the growth of internet services, and at a time when he was looking for ways to extend his internet interest beyond undergraduate teaching and learning into two related areas: services for professional associations and academic publishing. WIRE provided a fertile ground for that extension, being an active local West Australian association and an academic publisher with its new journal, Issues in Educational Research. Congratulations, Roger.
Nino Arvind Raju from the West Australian Modern Greek Language Teachers Association.
Nino joined the West Australian Modern Greek Language Teachers Association in March 2021 with the intention of assisting the Languages Education Committee at Immaculate Heart College, where he is employed. He also wanted to provide a supporting role to the sole Greek specialist teacher in promoting modern Greek at the school. Congratulations, Nino.
Helen Thomason from the West Australian School Library Association.
Helen has a love of education and learning new skills. She feels it's a benefit to her role to stay current in her profession and keep learning as we live in a constantly changing world. She has so much more to learn, and this is why she joined WASLA and has taken on some pretty heavy-duty roles. Wasla has played an important role in her professional life for many years, with networking opportunities, gaining a different perspective and knowledge from various professionals, and a lifelong learning experience. Congratulations, Helen.
Dai Tonai, West Australian Indonesian Language Teachers Association.
Language teachers have a unique opportunity in schools, providing a window to other cultures for our students. Offering them other perspectives, we help guide them to be citizens of the world while promoting empathy and a consideration of others. It should come as no surprise then that language educators lead the change and the charge in being innovative, passionate and resourceful. Congratulations, Di.
So congratulations to all our award winners. What a wonderful achievement, well deserved, and we are very, very proud of you and very, very grateful to you. Thank you, Matilda and Nick, much appreciated. Great job, Nick. I like the way you do that. Academy Awards for you. Let's do that. Matilda, before you go, just a token of our appreciation. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Well, this brings us to the close of the formalities for the evening. Before I forget, I've got some people to thank, but before I forget, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank the staff of the Karrinyup Country Club who've done a wonderful job looking after us. And I'm going to read out another list of names, but bear with me, I think this is important. So I would like to, on your behalf, thank the PTC WA committee for so generously and expertly serving on the committee, so we in turn can support and serve you. So I'd just like you to, if you could stand where you are. So we have, of course, our Vice President and former President, Dr. Barbara Coombs, who's the professional teacher. Oh, sorry, I've mentioned that, but she's also the adjunct lecturer at Charles Sturt University and a life member of the WA School Library Association. Our treasurer and photographer, Phyllis Payoff. Where are you, Phyllis? There you are. From WA School Library Association. Our secretary is Helen Bunstead. And she's from the Australian Association for Religious Education. Our executive officer and videographer over there, Jonathan Dutton, the Association of Independent Schools of Western Australia Libraries. Kathy Barron from the History Teachers Association of WA. Leo Conti, the Geographical Association of WA. I should have said we'll clap at the end, but since we've started, we'll keep going. You guys know the drill, right? Helen Quiz, who's from the Modern Language Teachers Association of WA. Zhuan Li Ma from the Chinese Language Teachers Association WA. Michelle Murphy, Level 3 Teachers Association. Cheryl O'Connor, Politics Legal Educators Association of Western Australia. Nick Ogenis, the Economics Teachers Association of WA, West Australia. Lynn Rockcliffe, Modern Language Teachers Association of Western Australia. Denise Scacera, West Australian Association of Teachers of Italian. Maria Svano, West Australian Modern Greek Language Association. And myself, Chris Callis, President of the AARE, Australian Association for Religious Education, National and WA. So thank you. And I think it was important to not only to acknowledge each member individually, but also to let everybody know the breadth of associations that are represented on the committee. And I think that's an absolute strength of the PTC WA, and more power to all of us for doing that. Again, our gratitude and appreciation to our special and invited guests, speakers, awardees, and everyone here tonight. And I would like to call out to the principals and others on the exec team of the schools who have come out to support their staff. That is really appreciated. We thank you very much. And of course, having SCASA and ASBA here, along with the universities, adds a great strength, and we're very grateful. A special thanks to our photographers and tech support, Jonathan Dutton and Phyllis Payoff. And I think many of you in the room know what's involved in putting something like this together. Phenomenal amount of work as volunteer on top of everything else that's going on. I'm sure many of us are tired after a long day, but I hope you enjoyed this evening. It was a worthwhile occasion. You feel affirmed and you've enjoyed the evening, and we've honoured those who deserve it. I would like to invite you to stay on for a while. They'll eventually kick us out, but you can stay with us. There's food, there's drink. We can buy more at the bar if you wish. Nice opportunity to catch up with people. And great to have family and friends here also with the award winners. Also, we have photography booths, so if you'd like to take some photos with the banners here at the front, there's also one at the back, you're very welcome to do so. So when you leave, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night.
Chris did tell me that I had to give him a hook if he was going to take up too much time, but he didn't. He was wonderful this evening, and I would just like to formally acknowledge what a wonderful MC he is tonight and always, and thank you, Chris.
Check, please. Talk amongst yourselves. That's all.